Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a good time today. Thank you so much for the introduction. I would like to first give my thanks to the organizers for giving me this wonderful opportunity to present in today's conference. And like Milena said, I'm going to present the research I've done for my dissertation, which is to investigate how fair are UK memory institutions, the invisible heritage of Muslim migrants. So memory institutions are an integral part of recording and keeping minority heritage alive. This is especially true within the UK due to its long history and widespread influence as the British Empire, which brings the question of how well do UK memory institutions record minority heritage, especially when it comes to their digital collections in today's modern age. In order to investigate this, Muslim migrants were chosen as the case study. This was because of their long history with the UK, as well as their precarious position within the UK itself due to the pervasive rise of Islamophobia and anti-immigration sentiments. These sentiments can be seen with the recent anti-immigration protests and rallies that occurred in London and in Glasgow just this month, highlighting how they are a current topic of debate. The Fair Data Principles by Wilkinson et al. 2016 are a set of guidelines that improved on the infrastructure of scholarly materials, encouraging the practice of open data and emphasizing on the accessibility of the users. These guidelines have been used not just for scholarly materials, but they've also been adapted for other materials such as technological software and metadata practices for memory institutions. Because of that, these guidelines are used as the primary framework of analysis for this research. The insights that were revealed from the investigation presented that UK memory institutions seem to heavily struggle in following open data practices with their digital collections, which can lead to the underrepresentation of minority heritage like that of Muslims. This may imply that other minority heritage within the UK may also face similar struggles. So, in terms of methodology, the research was qualitative in nature and primarily uses secondary data collection. The data collection itself involved choosing 10 UK memory institutions. 9 were major memory institutions that were collected from the UK's government website, which meant that it was recognized by the general public, such as the National Archives and the British Museum, while 1 was a specialized memory institution that focused solely on recording documents of Muslims within the UK, which is an archive known as Everyday Muslims. Across these 10 UK memory institutions, a structured and targeted search was conducted on their digital collections using keyword matching and Boolean operators to find the documents about Muslim migrants. As for the analysis, the FAIR data principles were primarily used as the criteria. FAIR stands for findability, which is how easy the documents are to find, accessibility, which is how easy they are to access, interoperability, which is how easily their metadata can be integrated across different institutions, and reusability, which is how generous the metadata's descriptions are for usability purposes. These 4 main criteria are used to compare whether documents found complied with the FAIR data principles. From the data collection itself, we found the following, which is we did a preliminary search, which yielded so few results that the lack of content itself became a key finding. Through the structured and targeted search, out of 10 UK memory institutions, we found a total of 67 relevant documents of, in relation to, and adjacent to Muslim migrants. If you examine the pie chart, you can see that the documents that were explicitly about Muslim migrants within the UK is dwarfed by general Islamic or Muslim content, a type of content identified as adjacent to the target demographic. In fact, only 5 out of 67 relevant documents were of Muslim migrants within the UK, making it around 7% of the documents found. Furthermore, it's like roughly around 19% of the relevant documents found were about Muslim migrants at all. This clearly shows that Muslim migrants are an underrepresented minority heritage within UK memory institutions, despite their long history and growing population within the UK itself. Moving on to the analysis part, where the FAIR data principles were used as the framework. This bar chart displays the comparison of the total mean for FAIR data principles compliance across all of the GLAM sectors. You can observe just from the bar chart that findability scored the highest across all GLAM sectors, while interoperability scored the lowest. This suggests that UK memory institutions have a large focus on making their materials easily findable for their users. Their low score on interoperability suggests that UK memory institutions are inconsistent with their metadata practices at large, which makes their documents less likely to be interoperable with other memory institutions. Yet the second highest principle that's being followed is reusability, which suggests that UK memory institutions institutions are largely consistent when it comes to their own internal practices for metadata. This suggests that UK memory institutions are not that interoperable with one another and lean towards more individualistic practices. Overall, the findings of having high findability and low interoperability suggest that despite the UK GLAM sectors being converged together under the identity of memory institutions due to perceived similarity in symbolic and social functions, this is simply untrue when it comes to practice. The analysis also revealed that the trend of high findability and low interoperability is also being followed by specialized memory institutions. The bar chart in front of you is a comparison between specialized and major memory institutions on how well they comply with the FAIR data principles. From a quick glance, you can see that specialized memory institutions follow the FAIR data principles less than the major memory institutions as a whole. Yet they follow a similar pattern: high findability, low interoperability. The only difference is that specialized memory institutions have a higher accessibility over reusability in comparison to major memory institution, which suggests that specialized memory institutions may favor community engagement over major memory institutions. Overall, specialized and major memory institutions only partly follow the FAIR data principles, with major memory institutions being more successful, likely due to having far more resources available in comparison. In conclusion, the investigation found that the struggle of UK memory institutions struggle to adhere to open data practices, particularly in interoperability, which creates the structural barriers that risk the permanent underrepresentation of minority heritage. For future research, a larger sample size would be recommended, as 10 memory institutions may not be enough. A look into how physical versus digital collections are recorded to see whether or not there are better recording practices found for physical collections in comparison to digital collections, as well as analyzing policies to understand what, how, and why certain documents are prioritized for digitization. For GLAM practitioners, this study suggests a focus on the following interoperability more, such as standardizing metadata practices across all UK GLAM sectors. Additionally, many of the documents found did not have globally unique and persistent identifiers. By implementing this, we can ensure long-term access to digital collections instead of finding broken links that lead to nowhere and potentially lose digitized documents for good. Overall, this research serves to be a stepping stone for, again, future research in how memory institutions at large can better record, preserve, and represent minority heritages through the usage of open data practices such as the FAIR data principles. Thank you so much for your time and attention. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.